Forgiveness is not something we give because it's easy. It's something we give because peace demands it. Every one of us carries wounds that seem impossible to forget. Betrayals, disappointments, words that cut too deep. But forgiveness isn't about making peace with the person who hurt us. It's about making peace with ourselves. Stoicism reminds us that we can't always control what happens around us, but we can control how much of it we let live inside us. That is where real freedom begins. When someone wrongs you, your first instinct is to protect yourself. You might build walls or hold on to the pain like armor, but over time that armor becomes too heavy. It drains your joy, your focus, and your strength. Stoic philosophy teaches that holding on to resentment binds you to the past. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Those words remind us that we can rise above the damage. We don't forgive because they deserve it. We forgive because we deserve peace. The act of letting go is not about them. It's for your own liberation. Forgiveness is the doorway to freedom. When you forgive, you stop being tied to the story of what was done to you. You allow your energy to flow toward healing rather than hostility. It's not an act of surrender. It's an act of strength. It's standing tall and saying, "You may have wounded me once, but I won't let that wound keep bleeding forever." That choice, quiet and powerful, is where healing begins. But before forgiveness can bloom, we must face the storm of emotion that precedes it. You cannot forgive something you refuse to feel. Stoicism is often misunderstood as the rejection of emotion, but in truth, it's the mastery of it. Epictetus said, "It's not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them." This means that anger itself isn't a wrong. It's a signal that something feels unjust. The Stoic way is not to suppress anger, but to observe it calmly, like watching clouds pass through the sky. You have every right to feel hurt. You have every right to feel angry. The mistake is believing that you must stay there forever. When you allow yourself to feel anger without letting it consume you, you begin to separate yourself from it. You stop identifying with the pain. You become the observer instead of the prisoner. That's the first real act of power. Take a breath and name what you feel. Acknowledge the disappointment, the betrayal, the confusion. Let it exist. Don't rush to bury it or explain it away. The Stoics would say, look at your anger as a teacher. It reveals your expectations, your attachments, your values. Once you've faced it fully, it loses its power to control you. What you can name, you can release. When you hold on to anger, you think you're punishing them, but you're really punishing yourself. Anger burns energy that could be used for joy, creativity, and growth. It drains your peace, drop by drop. Seneca called anger a short madness, and he was right. It clouds judgment, distorts reason, and steals time. You might replay the same hurt over and over, imagining what you should have said, what you wish you had done. But every replay keeps you chained to that moment. Meanwhile, the person who caused it might not even think of it anymore. You keep living inside a wound that they left behind. The Stoics taught that pain is inevitable, but prolonged suffering is a choice. When you continue to hold resentment, you let that pain take root. It grows like a weed, choking the joy from everything around it. Letting go doesn't mean denying what happened. It means choosing not to let it dominate your inner life anymore. The longer you clutch anger, the heavier it becomes. When you release it, you return to yourself. Forgiveness becomes an act of mercy toward your own soul. You stop feeding the fire that burns only you. You turn that energy inward, into rebuilding, into rediscovering peace. This is not weakness. It's wisdom. To let go when you could cling, to choose stillness when you could rage. That is mastery. Another step toward forgiveness is to separate the person from their actions. Stoicism reminds us that people act not always out of malice, but often out of ignorance, fear, or confusion. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself every morning, "Today you will meet people who are ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, jealous." He did not say this to grow bitter, but to prepare his heart. He knew that others' behavior reflected their inner world, not his worth. When you begin to see that, your heart softens. You start to understand that their hurtful actions are symptoms of their own weakness or blindness. This understanding does not excuse their behavior, but it frees you from taking it personally. You no longer need to make them your enemy. You can still acknowledge the wrong, but without carrying hatred inside. The Stoics saw humanity as one interconnected body. When one part is sick, the whole suffers. So when someone harms you, they're showing you their illness, their lack of wisdom, their loss of self-control, their failure to see rightly. To see this clearly is not to condone it. It is to rise above it. You can say, I reject the action, but I do not poison my heart with hatred toward the person. That's not forgetting him, it's freeing. Forgiveness then is not a transaction. It's a decision, a choice for peace. You don't forgive because someone apologized. You forgive because your soul refuses to live in bitterness. Epictetus said, no one can make you angry without your consent. This doesn't mean you suppress emotion. It means you take ownership of your response. Forgiveness is that ownership in action. When you decide to forgive, you reclaim control. You stop waiting for them to make things right. You stop believing that your healing depends on their regret. You realize you hold the key to your own calm. Forgiveness is not something you wait for. It's something you practice every day in small decisions. In the choice to let a thought pass without replaying it. In the choice to speak gently instead of spitefully. In the choice to rest instead of reliving pain. Forgiveness is self-respect. It's telling yourself, I am done letting this shape me. It's setting your peace as your priority. It's your way of saying, my heart will not be ruled by the past anymore. Forgiving does not always happen overnight. It's not a switch you flip, but a journey you walk. You might forgive one moment and feel angry again the next. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're healing. The Stoics knew that true growth takes time. Marcus Aurelius said, no great thing is created suddenly. That includes forgiveness. You must be patient with your own heart. Healing takes repetition. You may have to remind yourself again and again why you are letting go. Some days you'll feel at peace, other days the pain will resurface. That's normal. Each time you choose to return to calm, you strengthen that inner muscle of forgiveness. With every repetition, resentment loses its strength. Eventually, what once felt like an open wound becomes a faint scar, something that no longer hurts but reminds you how far you've become. The Stoic way is not about perfection but progress. If you fall back into anger, do not scold yourself. Observe it gently, and then return to peace. Each effort counts. Each small release builds toward greater freedom. Forgiveness is a daily practice, not a single act. Keep walking. Even slow progress is liberation. To keep moving forward, you must shift your focus from the pain of the past to the possibility of the present. Stoicism teaches that happiness lives in this moment, not in what has already happened. The past cannot be changed, but the present can be shaped. Every moment spent thinking about what they did is a moment stolen from your peace now. Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. We relive old hurts and let them wound us again and again in our minds. The Stoics would tell you, return to the present. This moment is what you can influence. The more attention you give to your well-being, the less energy the past can take from you. So focus on your breath. Notice what's around you. Look at what is still good, what is still beautiful. Gratitude weakens the roots of resentment. When you turn your mind toward what you have instead of what you lost, healing grows naturally. You are not erasing the past. You are choosing to build a better present. That's the Stoic way. Living with reason, rooted in now. One of the biggest misunderstandings about forgiveness is that it means forgetting, excusing, or reconciling. It does not. Stoicism doesn't ask you to pretend it didn't hurt. It asks you to understand it clearly. You can forgive someone without allowing them back into your life. You can forgive without trusting again. Forgiveness is for peace, not for reconciliation. Marcus Aurelius said, if someone does wrong, leave them where they are. It's not your duty to fix them. It's not your responsibility to reopen the door. Forgiveness doesn't mean you minimize the harm. It means you refuse to let it define you. It's possible to remember what happened and still choose peace. It's possible to carry wisdom from pain without carrying bitterness. When you truly forgive, you learn boundaries. You realize that love and limits can coexist. You understand that forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. It simply ends the emotional war inside you. You stop reliving the fight. You put down the weapons. That's not weakness, that's power. You decide what belongs in your heart and what doesn't. Empathy is another form of wisdom that helps forgiveness take root. To understand why people act as they do doesn't mean to justify them. It means to see clearly. Stoicism teaches that people act from their beliefs about what is good, even when those beliefs are mistaken. Seneca said, "To understand all is to forgive all." When you begin to see that those who hurt others are often themselves trapped in fear, ignorance, or pain, compassion begins to replace contempt. You might remember moments when you too acted harshly, not from cruelty, but from confusion. In that recognition, empathy grows. You realize that pain travels from person to person until someone chooses to stop the cycle. That someone can be you. Understanding others. Pain doesn't mean allowing them to repeat it. It means refusing to multiply it. Empathy is strength. It says, "I see your weakness and I choose not to make it mine." It protects your peace from hatred. You can still keep distance, still say no, still guard your energy, but you do it without malice. You act with wisdom, not wrath. Stoicism teaches us that compassion is not softness. It's power controlled by understanding. And from that understanding, true forgiveness flows naturally. At the heart of all this lies one truth: your inner peace must come first. Stoicism teaches that peace of mind is the greatest wealth a person can own. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When peace becomes your top priority, forgiveness becomes easier, because nothing and no one is worth losing your calm over. A grudge poisons the one who holds it. It turns every quiet moment into a battle. It steals your sleep, your focus, your joy. Peace, on the other hand, renews you. It gives you clarity, energy, and presence. When you choose peace, you stop arguing with what's already over. You accept that the past cannot be changed, but your relationship with it can. You stop being a victim of memory and become a creator of meaning. Each day, remind yourself that your mind is sacred. Protect it from bitterness the way you protect your body from harm. You can acknowledge wrongs without letting them take residence in your heart. Peace is not passivity, it's control. It's the quiet knowing that your spirit is stronger than any offense. And once you truly grasp that, forgiveness feels less like a burden and more like a blessing. In the end, forgiveness is not about letting someone off the hook. It's about letting yourself off the hook. It's about saying, "I won't keep carrying this pain." Stoicism shows us that peace is a discipline, not a gift. It's something we cultivate daily through awareness, patience, and courage. To forgive is to stop living as a victim of what you cannot change and start living as the master of your response. The Stoics believed that every event, no matter how painful, is an opportunity to practice virtue, to grow stronger, wiser, more compassionate. When you forgive, you're not erasing what happened, you're transforming it into wisdom. You're saying, like, "This will not break me, it will build me." You stop asking why it happened to you and start asking what it can teach you. That is the highest form of freedom. To look at pain and say, "You will not define me." To look at betrayal and say, "You will not steal my peace." To look at the past and say, "You no longer have power here." Forgiveness, then, is not a favor for the one who wronged you. It's a declaration of your own strength. So, forgive, not because they are worthy, but because you are. Forgive because your heart was never meant to carry anger forever. Forgive because life is too brief to live in chains of bitterness. Forgive because, as the Stoics taught, peace is not found in controlling others but in mastering yourself. Let the past stay where it belongs. Choose freedom. Choose calm. Choose the quiet power of letting go.